true crime podcast where best friends and next door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Willow.
Hello.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
We're not home today. We're just
not.
I'm choosing not to exist.
N-O-T.
I can't even tell y'all, I can't say I'm having a bad time. I'm just having a time. And I feel like, you ever feel like you're just, no matter how much, you try to, get work done, you're making zero progress on everything.
Like a hamster on a wheel.
Just running and nothing, digging in sand. I'm done bitching. We shall continue.
It's the Aries full moon, so...
It's made me spicy.
It's wild.
Speaking of spicy. Speaking of
Spicy
spicy.
daddy.
Spicy daddy. So I want to announce next month's theme, as this is the last episode of our female serial killer theme.
And the last month of our second season.
That's right, because we're in season 3 now.
3.
What's up? 1, 2, 3. So, our next month's theme is The Devil Made Me Do It.
Satan made me do it.
Satan made me do it.
Satin.
Spicy Daddy himself, making people do all sorts of reprehensible things. Yeah.
Yep, Satan
and I'm
month.
excited for it.
Yeah, it's my birthday month.
Yeah.
So you guys think of me.
Yeah, and usually we
Turning
let
33.
33. Usually we let our patrons decide our themes, but we wanted to do this one too much.
Yeah.
So
it's been a whole year of looking forward to that month. So.
Yes, we've been I want that month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Satan month.
Satan. So today, though, we're going to be
last
talking...
case of female serial killers.
Yes, which I said earlier. Yes. So this is the case of Linda Hazzard, the killer cure. Here's the trigger warnings for this, and please heed them. This is rough. Disordered eating, starvation resulting in death, fad diets, fat phobia, medical quackery, and don't come at me about fasting. And I mean that. You can send your emails into the ether. If it makes you feel better, here's what you do. Write a hateful letter to me and then throw it away, because I will not read it if it's pertaining to this episode. I am many, many years recovered from eating disorder, and I can't talk about diet stuff.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Same.
No. So if you have struggled with ED or any disordered eating, this is not the episode for you.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. So Linda Hazzard was the first doctor, and I'm saying that in air bunny quotes, in the United States to earn a medical degree as a fasting specialist. Fasting had never been considered anything up until this point. It wasn't something, it was kind of more of a religious practice. Now, I want to make a caveat. If you fast because of a religious belief or something like that,
oh, absolutely,
that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I am talking about
fad diet fasting.
Yes, and we'll get more into it here in a second. It was popular with health faddists of the time. In 1908, she published a book called Fasting for the Cure of Disease, promoting fasting as a cure for literally every ailment, including cancer. And as people who know things now, we know that's bullshit.
Yes.
It's bullshit. Okay. Just making sure we're all on the same page. Linda created a sanitarium, and it was called Wilderness Heights, and it was in Olalla, Washington, where inpatients fasted for days or weeks or months.
My God.
And their diet consisted of tomato soup and asparagus soup. Look, bitch, if you go make me not eat nothing except
asparagus soup?
Don't also make my pee smelly.
Asparagus soup.
I can think of a lot of things I love eating, and I've
never had asparagus soup.
I have a long time ago. It's not great. I love asparagus, though. Fuck me up with the asparagus, but do not make it a soup. Do not make it a soup. It's a soupable.
It's unsoupable.
It is unsoupable.
I wish my brain was unsoupable.
Oh, my brain is only soup. So while some patients survived and sang her praises and thought she was the best thing since sliced bread, more than 40 patients died under her care.
I could imagine.
Most from starvation.
I could imagine that.
People in the area called the place Starvation Heights.
Yeah, that sounds more appropriate.
And yeah, this is medical murder adjacent, but it's kind of such a bizarre case that I couldn't help myself.
And she wasn't like a real life doctor. Like she didn't have a doctorate in starvation.
She didn't have a degree in shit. She just got given a medical license, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't go to school.
But they gave her a medical license?
Well, they sure did. She performed autopsies and everything, and she should not have. She was not trained. This lady sucks.
Wow.
So before we talk about all the murders she committed, let's talk about her backstory a little. And this happened a long time ago, so some information...
Yeah.
There's only so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's usually from her quotes to the press that I got this information.
So grain of salt.
Mm-hmm. Born Linda Burfield in Carver County, Minnesota in December of 1867, she grew up on a farm. Her parents were firm believers that children needed good food, fresh air, and exercise to stay healthy. And I mean, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's... no lie there.
Yeah.
Her mother made sure of this, especially in the food department, and they were on a predominantly vegetarian diet. Now, it wasn't a starvation diet or anything, and meat was much more expensive back then. And if you lived on a farm, and I know this because my grandmother grew up on a farm during the Great Depression, they ate what came out of the garden, and they only had meat one day a week.
Yeah.
Because that's what they could fucking afford to have.
And that's very traditional way of eating.
We eat too much fucking meat. And I'll say that as somebody who could literally just tear up an entire cow.
I also eat too much meat. I was vegan for like 10 years and now I eat way too much meat. And that's fine, you know?
It's tasty.
It's delicious.
I have epilepsy and a high protein diet is better for my condition.
Yeah.
And so it is very hard to have the type of animal, like I need animal fat to not flop around.
Yeah.
That's what the keto diet was originally created for epileptics.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes. I can't do it because it's too much. It's too much. I feel like
I need a vegetable.
I feel like my organs are greasy.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, y'all. I don't need to be feeling that way.
Yeah.
It's just constant diarrhea. No, thank you. No, thank you. At the age of 10, Linda's father took her and her 6 brothers and sisters to the doctor for an annual checkup because he believed in that whole an ounce of prevention thing and fine. Instead of just a routine checkup, the doctor was like, y'all live on a farm. And the dad was like, yeah, and? He's like, that means y'all are getting parasites all the time. And
possible, but
maybe. Like, I mean, we're full of parasites right now, I assure you.
I was about to say that.
That's just being
Everybody
alive.
does.
And so what he did is he prescribed them something called blue pills. And no, I'm not talking about wiener pills. So
I was thinking the Matrix.
These are basically laxatives and were used for a variety of ailments back in the day. However, the main ingredient, want to guess what it was? Not cocaine, nothing fun. Mercury!
Oh, hooray.
So yeah. So mercury can cause all sorts of problems if ingested. And here's some of them. Neurological and behavioral disorders. Symptoms can also include tremors, insomnia, memory loss, neuromuscular effects, headaches, and cognitive and motor dysfunction. So a bad time. So you've ever heard the term mad as a hatter, right?
Yes.
This came from because hatters back in the day, guys who made hats, used mercury when creating hats, and it made them go fucking crazy.
Yes.
The Burfield children took these pills for years, which resulted in a myriad of health problems like vomiting and diarrhea. It ate away at the lining of the children's stomachs. It made their teeth fall out and caused irreparable harm to their intestines. At an early age, Linda learned not to trust doctors. And I think this, more than anything else, turned her into the quack murdering doctor she became.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it caused basically her entire childhood was ruined.
Yeah, and she became just like the Mad Hatter.
Yeah. And if you don't think that didn't turn her into...
Yeah, because she's a young developing mind.
Yes.
And it can have permanent
She sounded
damage.
So paranoid in all of her literature.
Yeah.
Just very zealous and paranoid. At 18, she married and had 2 children. Linda was still suffering from the effects of the mercury poisoning she'd had as a child. She was convinced by this time that only natural medicine was viable and was the only thing that would give her relief, which I understand given her experience.
Yeah.
Over the years, she took a course on natural medicine and read many books on the subject. In 1887, she stumbled across a book written by Dr. Edward Dewey called The True Science of Living. And here's a spoiler alert. It's not true, and there's no science in it. And this changed her life forever. She became obsessed with his teachings and theories on fasting. In 1898, her husband left her, or she left him. There's alternate stories here. And he either took the children or she sent them away, but she literally never fucking saw them again.
I mean, that's probably a good thing.
For them, yeah. Either way, she then moved on to become a student of Dr. Edward Dewey in Minneapolis. Dr. Edward Dewey pioneered medical fasting. He claimed that eating to excess, like I did with an entire box of taquitos earlier, was the cause of all disease and psychological problems. I gotta disagree. I felt super great after eating those. He felt that fasting and abstinence from food, which some would call starving, was the cure to anything that ailed you. Naturally, he was full of shit, though not full of delicious taquitos.
Oh my God.
Which I'd rather be full of.
Yep.
I'm gonna eat some more later.
Taquitos.
They're so good. They're so
are.
crappy. I'm getting my oven switched out, and so I don't really have an oven at all right now. And so the kids were like, "What are we gonna do, Mama?" Like they'd never. Well, I'm like, well, "We're gonna buy some microwaved crap, and we're gonna eat it for dinner."
Yeah.
And they were like, huh? Because I cook 3 meals a day. Like, I
Right.
cook every meal. And they were so perplexed. John, especially my youngest, he was like, can't compute eating pizza rolls for
What do you mean pre-made food?
What do you mean? My mama didn't make it? No, shut up. How are you going to live? So, yeah, many doctors of the age actually spoke out against Dr. Dewey's theory of therapeutic fasting, saying he took it to ridiculous extremes, which he did. Linda took Dewey's theories even further, claiming our bodies were like machines. They're not. And eating for pleasure rather than necessity clogged up the body. That doesn't make no fucking... No, it doesn't. I mean, okay, hold on. If I sat down and was like, fried chicken every single day and some cake for dessert, sure, I'd eventually probably have high cholesterol. Actually, you know what? Many studies have refuted this.
Yeah, I was about to
and
say
they
that
do
too.
suggest that high cholesterol is likely hereditary more than anything else. So if you're sitting there, like me, and you're chonky, you're fat, you blame your ancestors. It's not your fault, girl. It's okay. You can have that piece of cake. Unless you have diabetes, then don't do that.
God damn it, Lillian.
I'm on one today.
I know.
Yeah, so it does not, though, clog up. If I sit down and I'm like really enjoying a sandwich, it's not clogging up shit. It's not. I mean,
How
if
dare
eat a
you
whole-
enjoy your sandwich?
Fuck you. You know, like maybe if I ate a whole block of cheese,
I would love to do that right now.
that wouldn't clog me up. I'm lactose
cheese.
intolerant. That'd be
God, I
out of
love
me.
cheese.
Like grease through a goose.
Ew.
Yeah. So, mind you, this bitch never went to medical school and doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground. Linda believed that fasting would somehow purify the body, which completely ignores the function of your fucking liver. Because that's what it's for. So, I just want to tell you all this. You don't need an enema. That's not purifying anything. It's just going to give you diarrhea. Unless you're constipated or you're about to do some backdoor activities.
Yep,
Okay?
clean it out first.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, but you're going to
No.
wish you had when you're done. You don't need to drink anything. You don't need to detox unless you're on drugs and
Yeah.
you need a detox program or you're on alcohol. That's a different kettle of fish. That's giving your body time to get that shit out of your system.
If you're questioning your body's internal systems, besides going to a doctor, obviously, drink water.
Drink some water.
Drink some water.
Take a nap.
Take a nap.
Does your tummy hurt? Go poop.
Yeah.
This is what I tell my children. And I tell all of you because I don't want you getting suckered into weird health shit.
Just drink some water.
Some more Watts. Good. So her treatment regimen included daily enemas. The fuck
Daily?
why? Daily. Multiple sometimes. Hot and cold compresses, which fine. Weird massages to arrange the organs. Leave them alone unless you're bringing that big dick. Then you can arrange all kinds of things. And lots of sunlight and fresh air, which is fine.
Sure.
Sunlight and fresh air, delightful. But these enemas, y'all, that can dehydrate you, make you very, very sick.
Yes.
Do
yes,
not.
it can.
Do not. Also, if you need one, water up your bum only.
Yeah.
Saline solution. Do not put coffee up there. Coffee drink, not go in butt.
God.
Don't you butt chug things. Shame. Stop.
Yes. Listen to Lillian, everyone.
My notes literally say, no.
No.
So she opened her own fasting clinic in Minneapolis where she took to calling herself doctor, despite never having gone to medical school, and killed her first patient there in 1902.
Wow. Just right off the bat.
Right off the bat. This was around the time her divorce became final, and she'd abandoned her children to their grandmother. After the coroner determined that the death was caused by starvation, he tried to get her prosecuted, but since she wasn't licensed to practice medicine, she wasn't held accountable, and I don't understand. But
How?
Okay.
How?
I tried looking
I have
more
questions.
into that. I can't answer them. It was long ago and everyone was stupid and smelly. When investigators asked what happened to the victim's valuable rings, Linda was like, I don't know. I didn't see any rings. She stole them. This is a pattern. She does it the first time and she does it almost every time, especially the patient she was really closely involved with, because she wasn't really closely involved with all of them. Only the ones with lots and lots of money.
Of course.
There was more bad news after she met and married a man named Samuel Christman Hazzard. That's a name.
Wow. Christman.
Sammy Hazzard sounds like
Sammy Hazzard.
He could play in a metal band.
Doesn't that sound like the guy like fresh out of high school that got the motorcycle?
Yeah, I dated one of those. I put makeup on him in drama class before he went to a Nine Inch Nails concert. I was in love. I was just like, wow.
I love you so much.
He was 18 and a junior because he was an idiot and he kept getting held back.
Those were always my favorite.
He smoked cigarettes in the bathroom.
Yep.
Oh, he wore flannels and like ripped jeans.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd be like, whatever. Anyway, he ruined his entire military career because he had been a West Point graduate because he stole money from the Army.
Yeah.
He was a drunk, a womanizer, and a con artist, and he had married twice before and hadn't bothered to like divorce one of his wives when he married Linda, so he went on trial for bigamy. And this actually was
bigamy?
Yeah, that means being married to two people at the same time.
I've never heard that word before. Interesting.
Well, that's what it means.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Done. Quit the podcast right now. Yeah, it was a highly publicized trial, and he ended up serving 2 years for that, which I'm going to be honest with y'all. Let me just break it down real quick. I don't give a fuck if you marry like 20 dudes. Who gives a shit?
It's literally paperwork for the government. Like,
It's an
Jesus Christ.
why anybody gets their titties in a twist over that shit.
Mm-hmm.
If that polycule wants to get married, let him. I do.
It's all for tax purposes.
Of course.
That's why they have laws against it.
Well, it's stupid, and they should fix it.
Hell yeah, it is.
Fix all this shit. I'm tired. But here's the thing, like
You just
with
want a
the
brother husband, don't you?
no,
I'm just kidding.
because that might mean I have to touch a man.
No. You want a yard work husband.
I want a man to do my yard,
Yeah.
lift a heavy thing,
Yes.
open a pickle jar,
Yes.
and like go to work.
Yeah.
And then he comes home and he's like, "Hey, baby," and I'm like, "Go away. I have a headache."
Here's your food. Go to your room. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, yeah, where was I? Yes, I'm talking about polygamy. Here's the deal. If it's Mormon, I'm against it. If it's not, I'm for it. It's fine. Come at me. I don't give a shit.
She's on one today, guys.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just in a bad mood.
It's adorable.
Fuck off. So after Sam finished his sentence in 1906, the couple moved to Washington State to start over because their reputations were trashed.
Yeah.
And she opened a practice in Seattle, but she lived in a place called Olalla, Washington, which she renamed Wilderness Heights, and this is where she wanted to build her sanitarium. She took a huge commute every day. She was so dedicated to starving people to death. Locals, including you had a lot of like almost hippie types back then, like counterculture people and stuff, because they're always everywhere. They just loved her medical theories.
Yeah.
So she had a lot of, weirdos as her followers. No offense to anyone. It'd be the same people today. They're like crystal healing, Reiki. Ooh. And if you're into that, that's fine. But it's not medical science. And
when people take it to the extreme,
it can kill people. I've seen it firsthand.
This reminds me a lot of like, we're in the 1920s?
Not yet.
Okay, almost. Well, it reminds me of like the early 1900s version of the Love is One cult.
Oh, yeah. It's very culty.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it? So her first victim, her first known victim in Washington State was Daisy Maud Haglund, and she was a Norwegian immigrant. After a 50-day fast under Linda's care, she died on February 26, 1908. She was only 38 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
She left behind a 3-year-old son named Ivar. And I don't know, a real twist of irony is that Ivar Haglund went on to make a fortune opening seafood restaurants. And I find it sadly ironic. His mother starved to death. Oh. And then he goes on to feed so many
people. I didn't
people.
connect the lines there. Thank you for doing that for me. I was like, what? That it's seafood? I'm sorry.
Just throw the whole willow away. Other victims soon followed: Ida Wilcox in 1908, Blanche B. Tyndall and Viola Heaton in 1909, Mrs. Maud Whitney in 1910.
All those names.
I do too.
Maud, Ida.
Mm-hmm. Now they're women though, so nobody cared. So when civil engineer Earl Edward Erdman took the regimen in 1911 and died of starvation just 3 weeks later, the Seattle Daily Times headline read as follows: "Woman MD kills another patient." Yikes. But you'd think that'd make people go, ooh, maybe not.
Maybe we should arrest her.
Or maybe not go to her for treatment of anything.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop patients from pouring in. Frank Sothard, and he was from a law firm, and he published a magazine. He died under Linda's regimen just a few months after starting it. Ivan Flux, an Englishman who came to America to buy a ranch, he fasted for 53 days. During his fast, she got control of his cash and property, and his family was told he died with $70 to his name.
Oh my God.
Once more, she's robbing her patients. And this will continue to be a theme with Linda for the rest of her miserable, shitty life. So law enforcement did try to put a stop to her practice when Louis Ellsworth Rader, a former legislator and publisher of a magazine called Sound Views, began slowly starving to death under her regimen. Linda treated him at the Outlook Hotel in 1911, and health inspectors tried to convince him to leave, but he refused. Linda took him to a secret location to finish his treatment, and he died weighing under 100 pounds. He was 5'11".
Oh my God.
So terrible. The health director of Seattle said he couldn't do anything since Linda was now licensed, and the patients were willing participants in these fatal fasting regimens. Linda was superficially charming, passionate, and thus garnered hundreds of fans and followers of her theories. It was said that a lot of her patients, though, were so completely terrified of her that they didn't protest and suffered in silence. The health director said that if she were to ever start treating children, then he would step in.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Back then it was wild. So the deaths continued. A pattern developed. Patients would be kept in a hotel or motel room, cabins, and in some cases, Linda's property in Olalla. When other coroners and doctors performed autopsies on her former patients, the cause of death was always starvation, because duh. But when she did the autopsies, it was like everything but starvation. Yeah.
Was she like checking all of the organs that failed?
She's not checking shit. She's just going, oh, they died of...
Oh, yeah, I forgot. She's not an actual doctor.
No,
Sorry.
She doesn't know what the fuck she's looking at.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Now, you could argue that she really just believed in her treatments, and she did, and that it was a long time ago, back when we knew so much less about medicine. But I maintain there's proof that her motives were also financial, regardless of whether she believed in her treatments, whether they worked or not.
Absolutely.
I don't think she gave much thought about the people, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
She had no empathy for others, and a good example of this is when the decomposing body of 26-year-old Eugene Stanley Wakelin was found on her property with a bullet in his head.
What?
Doesn't sound like fasting would be the cause of death there. It was recorded as a suicide, but it's important to note that Linda had power of attorney over this young man's estate. When Eugene died, Linda contacted his lawyer demanding that funds be wired to her for his funeral. Her and Sam, her husband, were annoyed to learn that despite coming from aristocracy, Eugene hadn't been a rich man, and they just killed him for no reason.
Jesus.
Linda marketed her treatments to the rich, and health spas and resorts were very popular during these times for a variety of reasons, but one of the main ones was tuberculosis. The best... They would say the best cure for it was fresh air and sunshine. Well, really, it's get out of the industrial smoke-clogged, coal smoke-clogged cities where everyone's packed in there like sardines and there's no sanitation. Of course, the countryside is going to do better for something that's a respiratory condition. Duh.
Yeah.
But fresh air and sunshine didn't fix it. Your immune system either fought it off or you died, and that's it. So, Dorothea and Claire Williamson were two sisters in their early 30s. They were wealthy socialites who clearly, when you look at old documents and letters in their diaries, were hypochondriacs. They traveled through Canada and eventually the U.S. for a variety of maladies they claimed to suffer from, going to these spas and treatment facilities and sanitariums. In addition to having health anxiety, they just, I don't know... They didn't seem to be the brightest bulbs, and I'm not trying to be mean to them. Maybe they were just ignorant and naive, which is kind of what I think. They had been very sheltered.
Yeah.
The sisters saw an ad for Linda's book on therapeutic fasting in a paper in Victoria, British Columbia, so they ordered that book, and along with it came a brochure for her Institute of Natural Therapeutics on her Alola property. Dorothea and Claire decided to go and experience her fasting cure. And they didn't tell their family. And this was because the family was already really worried about them because they're constantly undergoing treatments they don't need, spending all this money. They're afraid they're getting swindled or they could die. And they're not wrong.
Yeah.
In February of 1911, the sisters arrived in Seattle and met with Linda, who told them her facility in Olalla wasn't ready yet, but she would go ahead and start their treatment in Seattle. The sisters moved into the Buena Vista apartments under the care of Linda's osteopathic nurse. Now, an osteopath is basically a massage therapist / kind of chiropractor of the day, and it is still used to this day, and it is just as much pseudoscience and quackery as it was back then. If you enjoy it and use it, that's fine. It's a personal choice and all, but don't at me about it. The research isn't there and never has been. It's been pretty well debunked.
So what is it? Just like...
It's not a comfortable massage. It's kind of just mushing your body uncomfortably and like...
Gotcha.
Not quite the adjustments a chiropractor will do. But they're very similar.
Okay.
It's basically a chiropractor.
But the spine is, we don't have to talk about how fucking important your spine is. So you just do the wrong thing to it.
Do not crack it like a light stick.
No. You can fuck it up.
Oh, chiropractors have killed so many people. Don't get me started. I'll flip out. Don't get me started. Okay. The sisters had a diet of mostly thin vegetable broth. That was it. Linda would administer hours-long enemas. And these
hours-long enemas?
Yes.
With like a garden hose or something? Like, what the fuck? Sorry for yelling. I'm just like really fucked up about that.
And after the enemas, the rough massage, it was during these punishing sessions that Linda started asking about their finances.
Ew.
She offered very kindly to store their real estate deeds and diamond rings in her office, for safekeeping, not for eventual murder followed by theft.
Wow.
In just a couple of months, the sisters were stick thin and delirious from lack of food. They were starving to death. But they lived long enough to make it to the Olalla facility, which opened in April of that same year. Before the sisters were taken there by ambulance, Linda's private attorney had Claire sign a document that functioned basically like a will. And it stated she would spend 25 pounds of sterling silver, not pounds as in money, but pounds of silver, a year for her treatment at the Institute. And if she were to die, then Linda could just have her cremated. It was fine. Wow. While these women are delirious and don't know what world they're in. On the 30th of April, Margaret Conway, who had been the sisters' nanny when they were young children, got a telegram telling her to come see them right away at the Olalla Institute. They didn't say why, but it seemed urgent. Margaret left Sydney, Australia right away and arrived a week later on June the 1st. Sam Hazzard, Linda's swindler husband, met the boat and Margaret and took her to Linda's Seattle office. Linda sat Margaret down and told her that Claire had died and Dorothea had gone insane. Margaret was then taken to Butterworth and Sons mortuary, where she couldn't even identify Claire's body because she was so emaciated. After this, she was taken to the Olalla Institute, where she found Dorothea living in what basically amounted to like a fucking shack. She was alone and so thin she was skeletal. When Dorothea saw Margaret, she tearfully begged to be rescued. But the next day she had changed her mind and insisted the cure was working and helping her. Margaret couldn't bear to leave Dorothea there and stayed with her, hoping she could convince her to leave and get some actual help. During the stay, Margaret would sneak rice flour into her vegetable broth just to try and save her life. And it did save her life. It's the only thing that did.
Holy shit.
All the patients at the Institute were housed separately and didn't interact with each other, and I think that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. It's another means of control.
Absolutely.
And manipulation.
Absolutely. And psychological abuse.
Oh, she tortured the shit out of these people. Mm-hmm. It's just a horrible control tactic. But on the 4th of July, they were all allowed to go out of their rooms and socialize together. And immediately, 2 patients came up to Margaret that day begging for help. They wanted to leave. They said they were being held there against their will.
Of course they were.
Mm-hmm. That day during the celebrations, Margaret also noticed that Linda was wearing a beautiful and expensive silk dressing gown of Claire's and her favorite hat. Claire's favorite hat. It was here that Margaret learned that Dorothea had given Sam and Linda Hazzard power of attorney, and the couple had been leeching her funds bit by bit. Naturally, Margaret was both terrified and infuriated. She told Linda that she was leaving and taking Dorothea with her, but both Sam and Linda claimed they had legally obtained guardianship of Dorothea and that she was not free to leave. They told Margaret that Dorothea would live with them for the rest of her life, and that wasn't going to be that much longer. Can you imagine how fucking scary that is? Just think about how scary that is.
And they have power of attorney, so she can't, legally do anything.
No, she could get in trouble because Dorothea's been declared insane.
Yes.
Very easy to get that declaration back then.
Yeah, especially.
Pretty easy to get it today.
Yep.
Unless you're using it as a defense in your trial, just saying. Margaret was able to escape, and she sent a telegraph to Claire and Dorothea's uncle who lived in Portland. She begged him to come and rescue them. When he arrived, Dorothea only weighed 60 pounds, and the Hazzards still refused to release her. Not until the $2,000 bill was paid. The uncle was able to negotiate the bill down, but for all intents and purposes, that bill had been a ransom. The British Vice Consul in Tacoma, Washington, tried to get the Kitsap County prosecutor to bring charges against Linda, but the county claimed they couldn't afford to do it. They didn't have the money to do it. So Dorothea offered up her own money to pay for the prosecution, and in August of 1911, Linda was arrested.
Wow.
The local paper the next day read, and I quote, "Officials expect to expose starvation atrocities. Dr. Hazzard depicted as fiend." I love these old headlines. Mm-hmm. I always think they're so great. Mm-hmm. But she ain't done, folks.
What?
Mm-hmm. Linda claimed that she was being persecuted unfairly because she was wow, words. Yeah. She was a successful woman, and an evil cabal of sadistic doctors hated her natural approach and would do anything to keep their poisonous monopoly over the populace. She told reporters, and I quote, "I intend to get on the stand and show up that bunch. They've been playing checkers, but it's my move. I'll show them a thing or two when I get on the stand. Linda, honey, checkers? Say chess. Chess sounds smart. Checkers sounds like something like an 8-year-old would say. Excuse me. Her lawyer told her, absolutely do not get on the stand. But Linda kept making hand signals at witnesses speaking against her, like threatening hand signals. And the testimony was damning. The evidence included a paper trail of fraud, including forged diary entries made in Claire's diary about how she wanted Linda to have her diamonds. It was clear that Linda and Sam were murderers and frauds.
Yeah.
Linda was convicted of manslaughter.
Wait, what? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. And were the trial to happen today, she would have been found guilty of multiple counts of murder.
Multiple first
But because she was the fairer sex, women unfairly got lighter sentences back then because of the misogyny. Yeah. So when I'm saying feminism is for everyone, I mean for men too.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So, choke on that, snowflakes. Yeah, people couldn't stomach giving harsh sentences to women back then. While she was waiting to be sentenced after her trial, Linda killed 2 more of her patients.
What the fuck?
She only served 2 years in prison. Yep. Now, she ain't done.
Oh my God.
After that, her and Sam moved to New Zealand, where she opened a clinic and published another stupid book that made her a stupid amount of money and killed God knows how many people. There's no records for that. By the year 1920, she'd made enough money to move back to the States, back to Olalla, where she then opened her Starvation Heights Sanitarium. This had been a lifelong dream of hers. To get away with it, she simply opened it as a school of health so she didn't have to have a medical license because the state of Washington had revoked hers after her trial. Here, she just continued to starve people to death. The sanitarium burned down in 1935, and 3 years later, Linda died. She hadn't been feeling well and decided to use her own fasting cure.
Good. Good for her.
Today, her books can still be found in natural healing bookstores and in downloadable form on the internet. The total number of her victims is unknown, but it can safely be said that she starved at least 12 people officially.
I would think it was much more than that. Much more.
I'm a big fan, y'all, of natural medicine. I just want to put that out there. Absolutely. Because I want to make something clear before I get 400 buckets of hate mail I don't care about. Well, when I get a cold, I'd take that elderberry syrup. That shit legit. It's got a lot of vitamin C in it.
I take elderberry gummies every single day.
And it's yummy. It tastes yummy.
I love elderberry.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You should probably have a gummy.
I probably should. My allergies are kicking my ass up one side and down the other. When I get any sort of ailment, I will eat honey and garlic because of the antibacterial properties.
You shove garlic cloves up your nose and get all the snot out.
Yes, it will, and I have. I'll do a little whiskey.
A whiskey
little
and
honey, little hot toddy when I've got a cold.
I love a hot toddy, my goodness.
We'll get you some whiskey and a little peach liqueur. And a twist of lemon, and a big old dollop of honey. That'll cure what ails you. It'll clear all that gunk out.
If not, it'll calm you down enough to go to
Y'all,
bed.
listen, I ain't got no money, so if something's wrong with me and I can't fix it, I'll just die. But I attempt to fix it.
Yeah.
I've done field medicine for people who can't afford to go to the ER. I have stitched up arms. I have lanced some gnarly spider bites. I have made poultices out of fucking leaves I found in my yard. So don't come at me. I'm a big believer in natural medicine.
We live in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a witch.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? However, shit like this is so dangerous.
Yes. Thank you.
I don't think I need to say why. But quack medicine, like pseudoscience, just kills so many people. And the essential oils, y'all, it ain't gonna cure shit. And it might make your cats die. or your dogs.
I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
Please look into that.
It smells good. Some of them have some really great antibacterial properties for cleaning.
Absolutely.
I use essential oils to clean my house with.
Orange oil, so good for cleaning, especially polishing
and your wood.
Yeah. Polish
Citrus.
that wood.
Citrus
Polish
does help
that
with
wood.
depression, so I use a lot of citrus too.
Why can't it be both? Why can't we use the natural medicine that have been handed down by our ancestors?
But with science. Can we hold hands with science?
No. And vaccinate yourself and your children. I will. Don't get me started. I know it's a can of worms, and I shouldn't even open it, but I'm saying it. If it causes autism, so
it don't.
You're number one
it's
talking
hereditary.
to autistic people with autistic children.
Yeah.
So you're saying that our kids are mistakes,
and that I made them autistic, not through my own DNA.
Oh
science.
No, science.
But through
a junk study that the guy already came out and said he just made it the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I understand it's scary and you want to protect your children and you love your babies more than life itself, and I'm done with this soapbox. But like, if I get hate mail over this one, fine. I don't care. I don't even
just
read
direct it all to Lillian.
Delete. It fuels me. Like, I get almost aroused.
Ew.
Is that what you want? Do you want your hate to arouse me? Because it does.
I highly doubt most of our listeners hate you.
No, they don't. I don't know. I think it's funny. I do want like shirts with the hate mail on it.
Yeah, we have at least a couple 1-star reviews that are just so funny that I'm just like, oh, buddy, that's going on a t-shirt. Like you literally are good advertising with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love
I got
that
called
for
a
us.
trash bag a couple weeks ago.
Really?
I love that one.
Ooh.
Right?
I'm kind of jealous.
Should be.
Nobody but myself has called me a trash bag
You
yet.
know how I mentioned that the hate arouses me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what else arouses me?
Girl.
Business time.
You got your business socks on?
I got little shoesies on today because I had a man's in my room drilling around and cutting on things, and there's
An electrician is what she meant.
There's a man's, and there's various detritus upon my floor. I don't want to step on it with my little princess piggies. It'll hurt. I might get a splinter in my toe, and I would not like that. It would piss me off. So I'm wearing little shoes. And you say, Lillian, why didn't you sweep the floor? Because there's shit everywhere. There's just, his tools are everywhere. The fucking wires are everywhere. I'm sitting here just looking at my room's just demolished. I'm very upset.
It's not demolished.
Go fuck yourself. Speak for yourself, bitch. No one asked you. Did I? No.
Nope. It's good. Aries full moon. It's wild.
Woo!
Yeah, super moon.
Woo!
Super Aries.
But no, there's just crap everywhere, and I don't know what to do with this stuff. I don't want to touch it. It's not my stuff.
If you don't believe in astrology, here's your proof.
Don't use me as an example ever again. I will slit your throat. I will true crime you to death.
Do you see? Aries full moon.
Hit her with my car. Anyway,
Just saying.
somebody pretty much sold out of soap, but I got good news.
What's your good news, girl?
I made more.
I figured.
I made more, and I made it very witchy and sensual and feminine and feral and delicious. I've got, Japanese cherry blossom. We loved that scent in the 90s, did we not? You were either a cucumber and melon girl, or you were Japanese cherry blossom or love spell.
I was love spell and warm brown sugar.
Warm brown sugar. I make that at Christmas time. Don't worry, I bring it back because that one's good. Yeah. But I have some Japanese cherry blossom. It's gorgeous. I've made some very witchy soaps with it. It smells. It smells even better than the Bath and Body Works version, in my opinion.
Well,
I blend it with a couple more things to kind of make it a little less powdery and a little more sweet and sultry. It's warm. I warm it up. A little vanilla in there. But not bakery vanilla. Fuck no. Perfume vanilla. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Yep. I've made all kinds of other soaps. If you are interested, I could put something together for you. Just message me because I will be shipping all these out the first week and second week of October. Just in time for Halloween. Spicy Daddy's birthday. Look, if they can say Christmas is Jesus' birthday, I can say that's his Spicy Daddy's birthday.
Halloween?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like he approves. Not that it matters. I'll go to hell. Don't worry.
My birthday.
Don't worry. I'll be tortured for eternity. It's fine.
So Spicy Daddy is a Scorpio?
I can see that.
Yeah.
What a worthless, whiny bag of trash.
Thank you.
You're
yes,
welcome.
I am.
Look, as a Virgo, it is my personal duty to inform you all the other astrological signs just don't measure up. It's not their fault.
Oh, my goodness.
They don't know any better. It cannot be helped.
My God.
Yeah, this is what you must deal with when you're friends with me. I am an insufferable know-it-all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
cute.
awful.
It's cute.
Other business time, we have a Patreon. Please go there. Look at the pictures we post.
Yes.
Those are public. You don't have to be a patron to look at those. But while you're there, observe the hundreds of posts that have been made that you could unlock if you became a patron of our podcast. We try our best to offer as much content for your dollar as humanly possible. I will be having a little contest soon, but I'm not revealing that till Monday, but so you hold on to your butts. We have merch. It's hoodie weather.
It is, and I'm so excited.
And our hoodies are so cute.
Yes, and it's great quality, too.
They're so snuggly and so warm and get you one real oversized because you know that's what you want. Who wants a tight hoodie? What world do we live in? That
I do have a couple tight hoodies that are really great, but I have really big oversized ones, too. It just depends. Depends on the day.
Don't listen to her.
You know.
Just the moo-moo life. Join it with me. Wear the big oversized things. Like, you're just a human snuggie now. Who cares?
Yes.
Fuck it.
It's snuggie season.
It's snuggie season. It's wearing leggings
Sweater
under your
weather.
moo-moo. Ooh, it's so attractive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling so sexy
Dear
in my
God.
shapeless cloud of fabric. I do feel cute, though. I don't care if I'm
You are
not.
cute.
I am cute. It's all right. It's all right. What else I got? Discord. Join it. Come talk to me. You can tell me in person that I'm full of beans, and then I will block you. 'Cause I'm a jerk. And then, no, you can come give me case suggestions. You can show me a picture of your cat or your dog or your reptile or your little fishy friend. Show me your garden. I love that shit.
Yes.
Show me what you made for dinner, even if it looks like crap. I don't care. I want to see your food.
And
I
we're
want to
happy
know
you
what
ate.
you're eating. I want to get inspired because I'm always hungry. Yeah. But I
Join,
think
follow us on Instagram.
do it.
And then in the highlights section on Instagram, we have linked our own personal Instagrams. So go follow us all
I
individually.
guess I just never update mine.
You will soon, I'm sure.
Will
But-
I?
Yeah, but Maris does.
Yes, if you want like a star chart from Maris, and you know I've talked about them before. If you're listening for the first time, what he does is he takes a day. It's usually a birthday, but it can be any time, and like an anniversary, the date of someone's death, when you got your pet, and he will illustrate the position of the stars and constellations for your special day. You can go see examples of that. It's an 8x10 watercolor. We're still running that special if you want a tarot reading, and one of those paintings, which you will receive in the mail. We're doing it for $45, so you can contact me. I'm going to stop doing this around probably the middle of next month, so do
'cause you're
jump
gonna
in
be too
on
busy.
it. I do get too busy, and I won't run a special like that again till next year, because the holiday season is literally bananas for me, and I don't trust the universe not to somehow fuck me up like it does every year. So
Yeah.
I'm not adding nothing else to the plate. So if you want in on that or any of my readings, because I'll probably pause those pretty soon too, go ahead and message me. I have a couple more openings for the rest of this month. Maris has one slot for one painting left, so please get in touch. But other than that, Willow needs some assistance. If
I'm
you're feeling
going
generous.
Through a big divorce, I was gonna say a big bad, but it's not bad. It's a good thing. But yeah, it's divorce season, and
Wait, is it like everyone I know?
everyone is going through it. So if you are to high five, we're gonna get through it together. But yeah, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 2 to 3 years now, and it was literally like night and day. I had like a dollar.
It was overnight.
I had like $1.50 in my account the day before, and y'all have helped me so much get through this past month. But I still have attorney fees and back pay on bills,
and your
so-
car's fucked.
and and I can't drive. I can't drive anywhere. I have been in the house for a week straight.
Yeah.
So that's rough with an autistic 3-year-old or 2-year-old running around, and we got cabin fever.
And they have things to do, and I can't always help because I'm running everyone in my house everywhere.
Yeah. So any help at all is so freaking appreciated.
So I will link the GoFundMe and all of Willow's apps. We do prefer you donate through apps. GoFundMe takes giant fees.
It's already taken out over $100 in fees. So.
That is true. So, yeah, but if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, please know you're a very special boy and or girl or they.
You're very special, them, all of you.
Yes, and I really appreciate you so much. I know I'm spicy today, but I still love the listeners. I love them.
And y'all, I'm so excited for next month. I can't believe you guys have brought us to our third
year.
This is all for you, by you, with you, like...
Yeah, if we didn't listen, I'm gonna be honest. If our numbers weren't great, I wouldn't have done this.
If we didn't have as many listeners, we wouldn't still be doing this.
No, because why do something that's not working?
Exactly.
You know? I'd put my efforts into something else.
You guys have propelled us forward.
And we are having a great time. I enjoy the research.
We have so many listeners that have become friends and practically family.
I love that shit.
And for people who... I mean, we're pretty isolated in the woods, and we don't really have family or big groups of friends or anything like that. So y'all being listeners and then coming into our lives has just been a blessing. Yes, I hope you guys know that you have been a blessing.
Has. This has been one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I owe it to y'all, and I appreciate it.
And I don't even think we're even halfway through it, girl. It's only just begun.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Listen, I'm going to go before I, Ralph or something.
Yep. I know, me too.
Good night.
Good night.
Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby.